If the Fête de la Musique made the newspapers, but certainly the budget is getting a lot of attention in the press. It came out, of course, that the government needs 10 billion euros if it's going to balance the budget in 2012.
10 billion euros, and it's on the cover of a left-leaning Libération. La rigueur au tournant, austerity is just around the corner, and there you see a grim-looking photo of somebody wringing their hands. Perhaps it's President François Hollande, because as you said, he has to find 10 billion euros to stick to his 2012 budget plan. According to Libération, it's calling it the government's summer homework as to how to find this money. It says that the left is looking for a miracle solution to make these spending cuts, all the while sticking to François Hollande's campaign promises. Now, one of François Hollande's campaign promises was to create 60,000 new teaching jobs. And yesterday, Le Figaro revealed that part of the way the government is planning on making these cutbacks in the budget is to cut back spending, government spending, and also to cut back jobs in other ministries. Now that way they can create jobs in the key ministries that they promised during the campaign. So that's to say education and justice. But to create those jobs, they're going to have to take away other jobs. So a lot of people are saying that the left is being sneaky somewhat, and they're carrying out these austerity measures without necessarily taking responsibility for them. And in their editorial, Libération takes a closer look at just what are the differences between the left's austerity measures and the right's austerity measures. And according to Libération, they don't necessarily have to be the same, because this is what a lot of people are saying, is that Hollande is carrying out right austerity measures, but just under a different name. Libération says this is not the case because the left has to distinguish itself from the right by being very clear and transparent about their austerity measures, and definitely not having knee-jerk reactions to what's going on at the moment. They have to have a clear path and stick to it, according to Libération.
Okay. Well, it was Le Figaro, the right-leaning newspaper, that let the cat out of the bag concerning that budget crisis yesterday, Thursday. But what are they saying about it today? Le Figaro is saying that the government is on the defensive, and it says that there are contradictory reactions coming out of the government. Now, François Hollande, who was in Rio yesterday, he reacted saying that if it's the case, I would have been informed about it. Now that he's reacting to the fact that he's going to cut jobs in other ministries to create new jobs. So it's unclear, according to Le Figaro, whether he was being ironic or whether he was genuinely surprised. Meanwhile, Labour Minister Michel Sapin said that he defended this, saying that it was in line with François Hollande's campaign promises, that the number of civil servants is not going to change. But according to Le Figaro, they're not on the same page. Okay, well, there was also a mini cabinet reshuffle, excitingly, yesterday here in France, with 4 new ministers added to the government.
That's right. This reshuffle comes after the Socialist Party won an absolute majority in the legislative elections, but it took a while for the news of this reshuffle to be confirmed, well after 8 p.m., which is the traditional time this news comes out here in France. And Libération takes a closer look at just why, and it turns out that one of the politicians who was expected to become the minister in charge of French nationals abroad, so a certain Axel Le Maire, she was actually a guest on a TV show at 8 p.m. So the government was calling her and trying to ask her whether she wanted to take this position. Well, now, when she finally did pick up the phone, she declined the government's offer, and so the government had to quickly find somebody else, and they had to respect Hollande's campaign pledge for parity within gender equality within the government, so they had to find another woman. It turns out that Helen Conway accepted the position, but it took a while for the government to be able to confirm that.
An interesting story there. And is it Libération who got hold of that?
Libération got hold of that, yeah. Little scoop. Now, there was other political news that La Tribune comes back on. Claude Bartolone, a heavyweight within the Socialist Party, was designated Speaker of the National Assembly. He'll be sworn in on June 26th. Now, according to La Tribune, which is a business daily, this means that Hollande's term has really begun. Now, La Tribune also points out, though, that once again, the 4th man in charge in France is once again a man.
Okay. So despite that gender equality,
exactly.
Not quite at the top. Well, thank you very much indeed, Florence, for that look at today's French newspapers. Let's get a reminder now of our headlines this hour here on France.